Hello. I have to apologize right at the start for my casual appearance, but it is 12:23 a.m. I am out of the shower. I did take my ratty old robe off, but I'm in my jammies. I had to because I find that if I don't grab the inspiration when it comes, the next day I can't remember exactly what it was I intended to say. And I don't want to lose this because although it's quite simple, it's huge, at least for me. So I am going to stop right now and share a video of a TikTok that I did earlier today. Coincidentally, it ties in with why I am feeling inspired at this hour. So I'll be back. Here goes. Life is a timeless moment in the eternal now. You perceive a yesterday, today, and tomorrow, but in reality, there is only now. Focusing on the past or future keeps you from fully living and receiving life's blessings. Bring your awareness within, and you receive a timeless blessing. I'm back, but as you can see, the location has changed. I am now out in my gazebo with the flashlight on so I can see what I am doing here. Because my daughter is playing a video game and she would say, "Oh, I'm quiet, what's the problem?" But she's not really quiet. She gets excited. And that's what you're supposed to do when you're playing a video game, so that's okay. I just have to sometimes get a little more creative about where I'm going to film my videos. So you saw what I shared on TikTok. And then I got out of the shower and I decided to watch a reading, a general pick a card, before I climbed into bed. And the card that came up was, should I stay or should I go? And as she pointed out, this is a general reading. It's a big channel that I was watching. And she said this could pertain to so many things. It could be love, career, finances, just general life satisfaction. Only you know what's going on in your life. But let me just present a general scenario for you to consider. Now, as she said, and as you already saw in the video, the past is done. We can't change it. So there is no point in beating ourselves up and saying, "Oh, if only I'd done this," or "if only I hadn't done that." We did it. It's done. It's pointless to spend any time thinking about it because it changes nothing. We only have so much brain power. Why waste it on something that's pointless, right? And as to the future, we have no idea. And even if we think we do because we've gone to a reader and had our future predicted, we can change it just like that. And I can't even snap my fingers at this hour. Because with our actions or our thoughts, we can alter what was intended to happen in the blink of an eye, as they say. So whether it's about any of those subjects that were mentioned or something that I can't remember now, there is nothing but now. And as I said, this is so simple. And maybe it's a no-brainer, and maybe you all know this already, but it was huge for me because I do spend a lot of time thinking, what if I'd done this? What if I had chosen to do that? Could I have changed what the reality is now? What's the fucking point, people? I didn't do those things, or I did do those things. It's something I can't change. Why waste the brain energy on it, right? Her point was, if there is only now, and this is the way this situation is going to be, let's just say forever, is it enough for you? Is this how you want this situation to be for the rest of your life? Because let's face it, none of us knows how long we're going to live. And I'm going to tell a quick story. My mother-in-law, when I was married, and I think I've told this in one of my videos a long time ago, put off doing things she enjoyed because there was work to do. She worked for the family business, and she always said, well, when I retire, we'll do this or that. She had a brain aneurysm, and she never got to retire, and she never got to change how she was living her life to bring more enjoyment in it. And frankly, from the sounds of it, and I barely knew her at that point, I don't think she had much enjoyment in her life. She had justified continuing to bust her ass and putting off the things that might have brought her happiness or pleasure, and she didn't know that this thing was going to spring loose in her head and that she would be dead before she ever had a chance to do the things that might have brought her enjoyment. We can't count on the future is the point. And we also, as this reader pointed out very clearly, cannot keep hanging in there for something because we think it has a potential to change. We have no control over changing anything except our own thoughts, our own choices. Now, that might not be fun to hear. We might like to think we can control the world, but really, when it boils down to it, we can't do anything about anyone else or circumstances that are beyond our own immediate circumstances. So, if whatever it is, the reader says, you came to this reading about, is never going to change, may have potential, but you have no control over that, so it's not ever going to be any different than it is now. Is this enough? Is this reason to stay? Or do you want to move on to open yourself up to something that may or may not have more potential, but at least is not this in its present state? Wow. Like I said, this may seem very simple, but it was huge for me because there's more than one thing going on in my life that I am on hold about. And I keep hanging in there because I think, yeah, but it could go this way, it could go that way, it has the potential to do blah, blah, blah. And I'm sorry about the shadow, but like I said, I'm using a flashlight. Now, if you see a big shadow looming behind me, tell me. It's just my big shadow looming behind me. So it's just a whole different way of looking at life for me anyway, because I overthink everything. Yeah, but, there's really no place for the yeah, but. We only can control what's happening with us. So if you are facing something and you are, maybe I should say not facing something, because I think that's usually what holds us back. We have fear of the unknown. Since we don't know what's going to happen in the future, we hold back. We would like to have every little thing guaranteed to go our way before we step into the unknown. And that is usually not the direction Spirit's going to take us, because where is the growth there? We just stay in our comfort zone. We can't have assurance on every little detail, not about our own lives even. Sometimes we just have to be like that fool in tarot and take the leap of faith. But I have a couple corny scenarios to tell. Well, one of them's not so corny, actually. I'm again going to use my former marriage. And I don't think my ex-husband would ever watch my channel, and if he does, I apologize. But, I don't think we ever really talked about this, and maybe he's entitled to know what my thinking was. After my brain surgeries, so much changed. And I couldn't even really identify why, but I needed to separate. I did that 3 times. It kept coming back, having hard conversations, hoping that things would change. It just wasn't the same for me anymore. Life, marriage. And I knew I had to do something. I didn't know why it felt this way, but I just felt like if I didn't do something, I would perish, which is a dramatic word, but I mean, I honestly felt like I just couldn't go on anymore. And so, for the fourth separation, I quit thinking. I just moved on what my heart was telling me, which was I needed to go, and I needed to go now. I didn't worry about everything I was leaving in the house that I might never see again. And that was silly. I mean, those are things. What do they matter? I packed a small bag and I had an inflatable bed and I threw them in the car. And I disappeared and called later that night from a place I had rented 3 hours away. Now that may seem harsh, but I was in survival mode. And no longer was I trying to figure out all the potential or the possibilities. It came to the point I realized I've given it my all. I've done everything I can to change the circumstances. I don't really understand anything except for what I feel. And that is that I need to change things for me because I have no control over anything else. And that separation stuck. That was the last one. I'm divorced now and have been for years. Now, here's the corny one. You know, these weird, how do I say this? I don't watch them, but I've heard enough about them. These weirdly fascinating horror movies. Some people just love to be scared. I don't, so I don't watch them. But I mean, I've heard people talk about these kinds of scenarios, so I'm just going to make one up that seems like it would fit. Let's say Jeannie is walking down the sidewalk and suddenly the axe murderer grabs her and drags her through the bushes to this little hidden house. And he sets his axe in the corner and says, "I'll be back." Jeannie is sitting there going, oh my God, if only I had turned on the street before the one I turned on. Oh my God, if only I had paid more attention to my surroundings. See, she's going to the past. She can't change that. Jeannie is screwed on what has already taken place. She just was living her life. She made some decisions. She had no control over the axe murderer coming out of the bushes. He's left. The axe is in the corner. She has a pretty good idea that this probably is not going to turn out well. But now she's debating, but if I do this, what if he comes in and yada, yada, yada? Or if I just sit here and he comes in, maybe I can convince him to let me go. Now, she's in her head, and it's all about the future she has no control over. She sees an opportunity where she could perhaps get through the window because it's cracked open a bit. And she thinks, it's now or never if I'm going to change anything. I need to make my move. But she once again goes into her head and she's thinking, but what if this isn't as bad as I think it is? Or what if someone is going to come by and I'll hear them and I'll scream and they'll save me? She misses her opportunity because now the door opens and there's the axe murderer. He picks up the axe and approaches her and curtain. We just only have control over ourselves, and we only have the now. Why are we wasting so much time thinking about the but what ifs? We're wasting the life we have right in front of us in the now. So, big one for me, and I apologize about the car noise. It's either a train or a siren or a car, my kid playing video games. It's always something, and I guess this is just my reality, and I have to adjust to it. But let's say it's a job, and you're not happy, but you think, but if I bust my ass, the boss might finally notice what a wonderful employee I am, and suddenly I'll be manager, and then I'll be on my way to more income, blah, 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 blah. How long are you going to wait? And do you really have any control over whether the boss notices you? I mean, could be banging your desk mate and she's going to get the promotion. We don't have control over those things. If you're miserable in your job, are you really going to wait on those yeah, but what ifs? Or are you going to do something now to start looking for something where you know where you're going? In a relationship, if things aren't going well in your marriage, like me, are you going to keep putting more years into hoping that suddenly you're going to be happy because the light bulb goes on and you see the answers, or your spouse sees the answers? Or are you going to stay miserable on the possibilities that you have no control over? If you look at it the way this reader presented it, you would say, but all I have is now. How am I feeling now? Well, I'm fucking miserable. I don't want to be here. If you just look at the now and your life isn't going the way you want it to, that's your chance to do something about it. To figure out how you can be happier, or how you can be more satisfied in a different job, or how you can make more money instead of hoping that, someone's going to give you the winning lottery ticket because they passed you on the street and thought you had a nice smile and thought, here, lady. If all we have is now and we're not happy, we can't spend time hoping for guarantees that aren't going to come, or putting all of our money on a potential that may or may not happen. All we can do is control our own thoughts, actions, and lives. So again, this might be a no-brainer. Maybe you all are living your lives like this. But I think most people spend a lot of time on regrets about things they can't change. And a lot of people don't take action toward a better future because they get scared and they talk themselves out of stepping out of their comfort zones into the unknown, and they want guarantees that they are not ever going to have. It's just a thought. And now, it's very cold and I'm going to put my ratty old robe back on. Take care, everyone. Bye.